spoonful of Manuka honey, raw, every day. One in the morning, one at night, for my womb. Look it up. Store and you look for Manuka honey, you'll see that it's like $30, sometimes $40 depending on what brand that they have. But there's so many like delicious good benefits for your body because it's raw. It supports wound healing, soothes sore throats, helps gut health, which is really good, like balances. It's like a prebiotic, so it helps the gut health and the bacteria in the gut. Also says it soothes gastric ulcers, gastritis, or I don't know how to say that, but you know what I mean. I have a lot of friends that suffer with that, so Manuka honey. It's also antiviral, antimicrobial, and antifungal, and it's also used for antibiotic resistant infections. Helps with dental plaque. It manages cystic fibrosis. This is like traditional regular honey. It consists fructose, glucose, amino acids, enzymes, vitamins, and minerals, and methyl glycoxyl, I think that's how you say it, which is an active ingredient that's not in other honeys. So it really helps germ fighting things in the body. It just really helps the body. It's like a superfood pretty much. And it also has a lot of natural antioxidants in it, which is great for wound healing and cellular regeneration and stomach issues. Also, like I said, very good for oral health and sickness. Like if you're feeling sick, you just take a couple, like a spoonful every day that you feel sick, and you'll probably start to feel better faster than if you were to not. Now I'm going to get into the womb stuff. I'm not exactly trying to get pregnant right now, but I do have endometriosis, and I want to prepare myself for when I am grounded and ready to do that, which I would like to be before my 40s. So there's a lot of really good things that are in Manuka honey that help support the womb and the fertility journey, such as vitamin B, iron, magnesium, calcium, and zinc, and there's a lot more. Vitamin B, Manuka honey comes from the Manuka flowers, and so it's really pure and very natural. Like I said, antibacterial, which has all these delicious properties for like juicing up the body with the good things that it needs to stay healthy and to keep it from getting sick. It's a high content of phytochemical compounds. It has a high content of phytochemical compounds that are useful for improving fertility function. And also has hydrogen peroxide in there, which works as an antibacterial to help overcome parasitic problems that threaten female fertility, which is a lot of things. A lot of things that are parasitic in the body can affect not just fertility, but a lot of other things and systems in the body. So this is just overall good for anybody, not just women. It's just like one of my superfoods that I always have in my medicine cabinet. And it also makes me sweeter. Like a lot of cultures utilize honey to bring in sweetness into their life. So I've always been a fan of honey just because, I mean, the fact that bees work with it in flowers, like that's just every fairy's dream for food. So earthy. But I really want to start talking more about my fertility journey and my endometriosis because I feel really, really strongly in it currently, especially right now. But like we all know that I've always wanted to be a mom and just have this motherly energy about me. And I'm really ready to start working with my body to help bring my children here into the world. That's very important to me, to have and birth my own children. So it's going to be, I was diagnosed with endometriosis at age 17, and they literally tried to give me a hysterectomy at 17. It was actually 18 that they tried. They're like, oh, we're gonna at least wait till she's 18. That way they couldn't like have any like lawsuits or anything, you know. But pretty much I was told there's no cure. You're never gonna have children. You have the worst stage, stage 4. And I always had difficult periods. And yeah, that pretty much crushed my world. And I kind of just shoved it and suppressed it in my mind and kind of just left it there. I would have surgeries about every 1.5 years from then on. I've had 4, 5 surgeries maybe now, but I have not had a surgery since 2018, the beginning of 2018 in March. So I'm very, very thankful for that, as I have found a system that really works well for me in maintaining the masses that grow and learning about how endometriosis actually forms on the reproductive organs. Pretty much I was in the dark with all of it. It was a very, very lonely journey because there was no, it's very, excuse me, it's way more popular now than it was when I was first diagnosed in about 2012, which was really scary because there was hardly anything about it on the internet. And, you know, it's funny because ever since I was first diagnosed when I was 17, I have seen it on the rise and more. And that always just like plagued my mind. Like, why is this? And it's happening in younger women. It makes no sense. So I really had to dig deep and do my study. And it came down to the lifestyle choices. And not only that, but the food that I was eating and the ways that I was taking care of my body. I love food, always have been a foodie, always have eaten my feelings. I just love to eat. Also, my mom kind of grew up in a very traumatic environment where there was like no food ever. So my mom kind of always just fed me snacks and fed me food. So food was definitely a comfort thing for me when I was young, eating anything and everything, not picky at all. Like, I have a very expansive taste and I love to eat and I love different tastes. Endometriosis, because that was the thing, like no one knew what endometriosis was when I was first diagnosed. People would be like, what? It sounds Greek. I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck it is, but it fucking sucks. And it's chronic pain, it's a chronic illness, and it affects my life. And that was me since 17. Even a little bit before then, it was an issue. So in a very traumatic environment where there was like no food ever. So my mom kind of always just fed me snacks and fed me food. So food was definitely a comfort thing for me when I was young, eating anything and everything, not picky at all. Like, I have a very expansive taste and I love to eat and I love different tastes. So very sensitive system as well. I'm all water, so that's very common. Scorpio, very common to be like a filter when it comes to what is not well for our bodies. So what it comes down to, well, we'll talk first about what exactly is endometriosis, because that was the thing, like no one knew what endometriosis was when I was first diagnosed. People would be like, what? It sounds Greek. I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck it is, but it fucking sucks. And it's chronic pain, it's a chronic illness, and it affects my life. And that was me since 17. Even a little bit before then, it was an issue. So what exactly is endometriosis? Endometriosis is a condition in women. Also, men can get it too, I learned. But it's a condition where the uterine lining that usually grows within the uterus and lines the uterus starts growing in places that it should not, like the fallopian tubes, the intestines, the bowels. It can go anywhere and everywhere. The ovaries. In my condition, I had many different surgeries. I almost died from endometriosis almost taking over my body with masses. It took over my bowels, took over my intestines. I was even opened up in a surgery and they closed me back up saying, this is way beyond our expertise. We have no idea what to do with you. And they closed me back up and I had to sit in that pain for months and I lost a lot of weight. I was very sick and I really thought I was going to die. I was bedridden for so long and it was the most traumatic experience of my life. And I never wish this condition on anybody, as it is a life killer, a joy killer. I mean, who wants to hear at 17 that you're not going to have kids and you don't have a chance of having kids? Like, that was like heartbreaking for me, even though I didn't show it. It was really, it really affected me, but I definitely suppressed those emotions. which probably made it even worse. Like I said, I ended up having surgeries about every 2 years, every year and a half. And it was because I did not understand endometriosis at all. There was no talk about it. Even the doctor that worked on me, like, she randomly disappeared, and I liked her, and I'm wondering why they got rid of her. It's like, I don't know. She was a great gynecologist, and like they deported her or something, but she was great, and really honest, and I felt really comfortable with her. But yeah, so this ailment works on the reproductive organs, and it attacks the reproductive organs, and it's like these cysts and cysts. It causes masses called endometriomas, which are big balls of these tissues of and uterine lining that just kind of takes over the body. So in my worst case in 2018, when they, no one could work on me because my case was so bad. It started spreading to my bowels because it grows. Think about like insulation. That's kind of like what it was like. It was attaching to each other and growing as a huge mass. If you look on my YouTube, I have my video where I show the pictures that they took inside of me and everything. It's pretty gross, but it's really cool. My little science brain here, I love to learn about the body and what goes on, and this was a very huge learning experience for me. And I'm really ready to talk more about it because I have found a lifestyle that helps and that heals this ailment. So I'm ready to start talking and being more vulnerable about it. This was a very dark period in my life. Like I said, I thought I was going to die. No one could figure out what was wrong. No surgeons could work on me. Like I said, they opened me up, closed me back up because they're like, this is way beyond us. We have no idea how to even start or where to start. They took out like probably the smallest amount, but there was so much on my intestines and my bowels. I couldn't eat. I couldn't keep food down because it was like squeezing my intestines, and it was not allowing me to even eat. I had to have smoothies, and I could only have a lot of liquids. I was very, very thin. I was 70 pounds I got down to, which was really scary, especially for my mom, my poor mother, who waited on me hand and foot for about a year, maybe even more than that. Love my mom so much. If it wasn't for her, I probably would be dead. So I love you, Mommy. Thank you so much, and thank you for your love and your care and making sure I don't die. That was my last surgery, and that's what moved me down to Florida. I ended up staying with my grandmother, my adoptive grandmother, and I was getting taken care of there. And ironically, she was sick as well. Her liver was very sick, and I ended up connecting with an amazing robotic specialist or cancer specialist surgeon that works with robotic surgery, and it works with a robot to get and maneuver inside the body to get and clean up everything. So grateful for him. Dr. Orr in Fort Myers saved my life. I owe my life to that man, literally. So yeah, I'm sorry, like, this is very traumatic still for me to go back. I really try to suppress it, but I know that I need to help a lot of people by sharing my story. It's just still very hard for me and very emotional because this is such an intimate space, and it was really like the beginning of my journey of being like, I am not going to allow this condition to control my life anymore. I have been doing research. I have been studying herbalism. I have been changing my diet. I have experienced enough lifestyle changes now to see the difference in when I get flare-ups and when I don't, and I really have to dedicate myself to a new lifestyle if I do not want this illness to take over my life. And that was the moment for me, was when I was so sick for over a year, bedridden, very thin, very sick, could not live life normally, and I was 22. Like that, at 22, having my life like taken away like that, like, it was a direct communion with God and a direct initiation into my testimony of who the fuck I am now. So excuse me while this all unravels slowly but surely. To mention, one of my first meditations that came to me when I started to meditate, and when I really started my womb healing, and this is when I first went vegan as well, because it was helping and it was cleansing my body. The vegan diet was good for me for a little bit, for cleansing, healing, and alkalizing my body. Not for all the time, though. I absolutely am a person that needs a little bit of animal protein for my body type and alkalizing my body. Not for all the time, though. I absolutely am a person that needs a little bit of animal protein for my body type to keep me grounded. I'm very Vata, so the animal protein is needed to keep me grounded here and present in the earth realm, as I'm very airy fairy naturally. So the alkaline diet was great. The vegan diet was also great. But I started having these meditations, and these visions were coming to me as I was seeing myself as Mother Earth and my womb as Mother Earth. And the endometriosis showed up as the pollution on the... I was shown myself as Mother Earth and my womb as Mother Earth. And I was being shown that the endometriosis was actually like the metaphor for the pollution and the poison on Mother Earth. And that blew my mind. Blew my mind. It was showing me that everything I had been eating was poison to my system. It was creating and putting on these growths on my system that didn't belong there. So that's from processed food. That was from having a lot of alcohol, white sugars, all of these things that actually feed endometriosis and also feed cancer. So endometriosis is also fed by soy. So a lot of people don't realize that they think that having tofu and having soy is so much better, but it actually is really bad for because it's estrogen overgrowth is pretty. Thing to mention is endometriosis grows the tissue. I found out grows. They didn't even no one told me this stuff. Okay, when I was 17 in 2012 when I was first diagnosed, I had to wait until 2015 for all of this. This is when my giant awakening happened. So much happened. I went vegan. I did LSD for the first time. I moved in my first apartment by myself with my best friend. I started meditating. I had a lot of awakenings and chakra synchronicities. It was really incredible and magical and amazing. So back to endometriosis being fed by estrogen overgrowth in the body. Soy promotes estrogen and stimulates estrogen. It has estrogen in it. So having too much estrogen in the body will create endometriosis. I didn't know this for so long. My diet, I'm eating anything and everything that feels and tastes good. White sugars. I had just turned 21. Not take any of this information with a grain of salt. I really trust my intuition naturally, and the experiences that I was experiencing, that was a very magical moment in my life. I felt very divinely guided and was on a kick of following my intuition, and I was healing myself because I was seeing past the limitations of what I was told through the traditional medical system or the pharmaceutical system, which was you're not going to have children, you need a hysterectomy, trying to just take away my femininity completely. So once I found out all of these things, I started directly applying them, and there was significant changes within my body. So I knew I was onto something right. I didn't eat meat anymore. And it's not the meat necessarily, it's not organic, good quality meat, and having too much of anything is never a good thing, right? So balanced diet. So at this point in my life, I was teaching myself how to meditate and teaching myself yoga and just really diving deep into self. I was in a complete hermit mode, and I was going through a complete initiation of self that was God-led, and I was in complete trust with the divine because I knew that I was healing and I was onto something. And it was very scary because this is all unknown territory. No one talks about this stuff. I was in a complete moment of trial and error with myself and being using myself as a little lab rat and experimenting with my body. And I could only trust in the unknown. And that was my test and first test and leap of faith in really trusting the unknown. Also, my first psychedelic experience with mushrooms was maybe a year before this. So, it all connects and all weaves in. But at that point, I don't think I knew about alcohol being harmful because I definitely was drinking a lot. I had just turned 21 recently, so I was drinking. My diet wasn't all the way the best. There was still a lot of things that I was not aware of. But also, I had so much sexual trauma. I had so much trauma with my womb that contributes also to endometriosis. Endometriosis also has carries through, I truly believe, past life things as well. So I really feel I know a lot in many past lives. I've lost children. I've had children taken away from me. I've had miscarriages. I believe in this life I also have had 2 miscarriages. So a lot of suppression in the womb that I was suppressing rather than releasing. Okay, and this all contributes to endometriosis. Endometriosis is a multidimensional illness. So it needs to be healed in a multidimensional way, meaning multiple approaches. It needs to be healed with multiple approaches, and I'm gonna have to take a break talking about this. This is bringing up a lot. I'm getting really lightheaded. But this is good. I'm happy that I'm sharing this, and I know that it needs to get out. A lot of these videos we're not wanting to upload for whatever the fuck reason, but I'm going to make sure this information gets out. However, I need to formulate it because I know that a lot of women right now are suffering with this, and you don't have to suffer. It's all about learning what we don't know, learning our bodies, and returning to origin, returning to natural, and returning to organic. So I'm going to have to take a break, and I'll do a part 2 at another point. But I just want to plant some seeds here and start sharing my wellness tips and what's helped me along my journey. Yeah, this is a very vulnerable topic for me. So has always been to work with women and through my own experience, of course, whether that was sexual abuse or whatever, daddy issues. But this is a big thing. Our femininity, our body, so many women have had hysterectomies that you don't need to get your organs taken out. I don't give a shit what anyone says to you. You don't need to get your organs removed. There is always a natural cure, and it's just about finding out what it is and being disciplined enough to make the lifestyle choices that we need to make in order to create a more healthy life for our bodies. So with that being said, I'm going to go do a little clearing meditation because this has brought up a lot. I always forget how intense this topic is for me, but it's all good stuff. I love you guys so much. Thanks for hearing me out, and look out for more. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it on Instagram and Snapchat. This is a really important, sacred topic, and I'm probably going to keep it very private for the people that want to learn more about this. Probably a Discord or Telegram, some type of private chat where it can be protected, because this topic of the war on womb, the war on the womb, the war on Mother Earth is real, and I've experienced it in many different ways and forms, but endometriosis has been the biggest wake-up call for me to own my body as a woman, understand my intelligence and my system as a woman, and to protect it, and also to help other women do that. So that is exactly what I'm going to do, but I got to do it smart, because not everyone out here love women, okay? Not everyone out here a fan of Mother Earth. They're trying to harvest her. They're trying to do shit. So